Welcome everyone to another episode of Dice and Brushes. You got me, Mason, and Brett.
Yep.
Say hi, Brett.
Hi, Brett.
There we go. And we're trying something new out again. We're doing Whip Wednesday with a side of Tactical Tuesday.
I mean, it is Tuesday somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's when we were originally supposed to record this.
Yeah, I didn't make a whoopsies.
So did I. So, on our painting tables, I've already got a Tau Hammerhead almost complete. I have swapped out a Ghost Keel's equipment to have the flare launcher, and I'm starting on some Space Marine Eliminators. Brett, what you got working on?
Goodness, I just basically have Vanguard. I just got 20 Vanguard I'm just painting up right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have an AdMech horde.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the AdMech is almost done, but at the end of the day, we're not talking about what armies we're painting. These people, yep. They want to hear one thing, and what is that thing, Mason?
Alright, so this is the part where we're going into the new Tactical Tuesday. So we're going to be going over a single unit, maybe two for feeling spicy. And we're just going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And we're going to focus on stuff we have actually used. In this case today, we're talking about the humble orc Weirdboy. So, Brett, just to give him a little taste, what did my orc Weirdboy do in the last time I used him?
To be honest with you, I don't really remember that much, but I do remember one thing. I do remember almost every time we've used him in past games, the jump. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I think that was one of the most broken psychic powers in the whole game.
Well, the thing is, it's pretty common to have that type of psychic power, but we'll go over that here in a little bit. So, for those of you who don't know, Orc Weirdboy is just a psychic orc. He is 70 points, moves 5 inches, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 5, strength, toughness, and wounds characteristic of 5, 3 attacks, 6 leadership, a 6 up armor save, and he's on a 40 mil base. So some people will use the, I can't think of the name of it, the War Chanter from AOS as the model that they use for the Weirdboy, because the GW Findcast one sucks. Anyways, his only weapon is a Weirdboy staff. As the melee, his strength goes to 8 with this weapon. It is AP -1, and it does D3 damage, but has no real abilities. Like any other orc, he has Ere We Go for charges and a wah, but you are not going to use him for his combat abilities. You are going to use him as psychic support. One of his abilities is wah energy. While there are 20 or more orc models that are within 12 inches of him, and you do have to exclude Gretchen because then it would be broken, he can cast an additional psychic power. And this is the one that I've been trying to use a combo with for a while now, but it just doesn't always work. Otherwise, without that, he can only cast and deny 1 psychic power in the phase. But, it works out. So, Britt, I believe you have a list of the psychic powers. You want to go over 1 or 2 of them? And then I'll pick up 2 and then...
Well, I think before we go on with that, actually, I do want to make a comment about the combat abilities of the Weirdboy. It's going to be just really quick. So, I'm very surprised he has 5 wounds, number 1. Number 2, I'm very surprised that he's 70 points. It's still going to take me a little bit a while to actually kind of get over the whole jump thing. But that, and honestly...
My Grey Knights have the same psychic power.
Do not remember me. But Wah energy, I do like that. But I think with some other orc armies, like the non-horde armies, that might be an issue, but still, But
like,
still,
he's one you take if you have an orc horde. If you're running a speed wah with a lot of vehicles, yeah, you're not going to take him.
Okay, but anyway, they were saying about psychic powers, and I'm going to go and start off with, well, Smite. Everybody knows Smite. I mean, if you don't know what Smite is, you should look at the rule book. There we go. Okay, anyway, so you have Ed Banger, which is a work charge of 5, select one enemy unit within 18, roll 1d6. If the result is higher than the unit's toughness, they suffer d6 mortal wounds. Okay.
No more than one model can be destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds.
Yes.
So, this isn't taken just because even on your best days, it's basically a 50-50 shot of whether or not you kill a model. However, if you can combine this with the jump, you could potentially, on the off chance of assassinating a character, you very well could assassinate a character with Ed Banger.
Or if you were really lucky, you can maybe kill like a custode.
Yeah, well, but you'd have to roll a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why Ed Banger isn't taken. Is because it's a toughness test, and at best it's a 50-50 shot of dealing D6 mortal wounds. So, nope.
Okay, so the next one is Warpath. Blessing, value of 6. Select one friendly core or character, and you add 1 to their attacks. So that would be kind of cool if you have a squad of I think they'll call it Sluggerboys, the close combat ones.
So you got Shooter Boys and Slugger Boys. Slugger Boys are the close combat. You can get up to 30 of them in a squad, or you can go with up to 20 Beast Snagger Boys, especially if you're going up against a lot of monsters and vehicles, because on a WA, a Goth charge with them, you're looking at, let's see, about 4 strength, 7 attacks, hitting on 3s with exploding 6s. But if they're a monster or vehicle, that goes to hitting on 2s. But once you add Warpath, it goes to 5 attacks per model. So from a 20-man Beast Snagger, 5, you could be looking at 100 attacks. Oh, but wait, one of those guys is going to be a knob, so he has a Power Snapper. So it's actually an additional 2 strength 2 higher, so he's going to be strength 9, AP minus 2 damage. Just the sheer volume of attacks will weigh down an opponent easy.
So the next one is Doug Jump, and this is the one that I think is completely broken and BS. You just basically pick one enemy unit, one core unit within 12. And on a 7 or higher, it goes off. They basically deep strike on the board.
But you do have to note that this has to be a unit within 12 inches of striker. Just like for Warpath, the target has to be within 18. I commonly try to combine Warpath with the jump. Warpath usually doesn't go off, luckily for you. However, the jump usually does. So I will commonly take at least a unit of 10 Beast Snagger Boys and try to, again, Warpath them and then to jump them if there are enough other orcs in the area. Otherwise, if I can't do both, I will try to just use the jump.
No, just real quickly. So, is there any vehicles with a core keyboard?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but are you worried about, let's see, golf, it's just core. It does not have to be infantry.
Because
so let me take a quick look.
Because I was just thinking to myself, wow, they can have a whole mob of killer cans possibly jumped across the battlefield. I think it'd be much more deadlier.
Let's see, Ludas are core.
Okay.
I'm just looking to heavy support at the moment. Let's see.
Just because that...
No. Let's see, of course Squighog Boys are core.
Or regular Armonobs core?
Let's see. War Bikers are core.
Oh my goodness, Doug jumping them.
Yes, Meganobs are core.
Oh my. And how many can they have in a squad?
Let's see. You can have 10.
Oh, well, still, 10 of them getting in your face is pretty good.
All of them with claws.
Well, they do have a... I think they become strength 10 with a power claw, right?
Yeah, plus golf charging, plus wah.
Wait.
So you're looking at possibility of strength 12. But next up, we'll go over the Fist of Gork.
Yes.
This is one that is commonly taken, alright? And you'll understand why very shortly. Warp Charge 6. If it is successful, you select an orc character unit within 12 and visible to the psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, you add 2 to the model's attacks and strength characteristic. If it was passed on 11 or more, you add 3 to the strength and attack characteristic as well. And I will have you note that when you do this, you are adding 3 to the characteristic of the model, not the sheer number of attacks. So, when you have things like Power Claws or Edwapa's Kill Choppa, which times 2 to your strength, you are including that here. So a strength 6 war boss going to strength 9, because you're going to the model's characteristic on the datasheet, then you're multiplying by 2, and then for golf, charging, or wah, then you're adding those numbers on top of that. So for a strength 6, you could be looking at strength 9, going to strength 18, going to strength 20. Very easily.
Well, I mean, it's just insane. I mean...
It's completely ridiculous, yes.
Well, I was just also thinking about, like, if you do... They have 2 Weirdboyz, you do Warpath and the Fist on a squad of 10 Mega Armonobs, then the...
No. The Fists of Gork has to be on a character.
Oh my goodness, I am...
The Warpath can go on a Golf Core or a Golf character. So yes, you could stack Fists of Gork and Warpath. Because Warpath also adds to the attack's characteristic.
Okay, I'm going to one-up you. You have 2 Weirdboyz. You take, oh my goodness, I'm blanking out on his name, the big guy, Galsgold.
Yep.
Fist of Gork, Warpath, then jump him.
Yep. If you have enough orcs in the air within range of the Weirdboy, you could possibly do that. It is very possible, yes, you could. How does that make you feel?
Fine.
You're going to be hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, guaranteed.
Well, anyway, I'm going to move on because I don't want to think about that anymore. The Crunk...
exploding 6s because he's a Goth.
Shut up. Anyway, so, the Crunks.
The Crunch here, I'll get this one here. Alright, so this is a Witchfire. Note this for later, okay?
Okay.
This is Warp Charge 6. If you're successful, select an enemy unit within 18. Roll a d6 for each member of that unit. For each roll of 6, that unit suffers a mortal wound. If this test was passed on a 9 or more, add 1 to the rolls when resolving the psychic power. So it would cause mortal wounds on a 5 up instead. And you're rolling for each model in the unit. So this is variable on how effective it could be. If I'm fighting a unit of, let's say, guardsmen, I'm probably going to get 1, maybe 2 of these mortal wounds. But then it's on a guardsman, who cares? If I'm getting this on Tyranid swarm, like the Tyranid Hormagaunts, or another squad of enemy squad of Orkboyz, maybe I'm fighting another clan, something like that, then yes, it could be very effective. But in the majority of circumstances, this is much, much worse than Smite. I don't think anyone's taken this.
It kind of reminds, there was a, I can't remember, it was actually a Death Code Psychic Power that is just like this. But I never really, but for that army, I don't take it. It's if I remember correctly, it takes 7 dice, every 6 you get, mortal wound. And I don't like that. Maybe against like a land raider, possibly, but
yeah, it's just when something relies on 6s to happen, you don't incorporate it in the battle plan. It just becomes a nice little bonus. So I would never rely on a psychic power like the Crunch.
And
with that, can you please read off Jabbin' Fingers from the notes?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, last but not least, Jabbin' Fingers. It has a rogue value of 6, and it's like one enemy unit within 18, and visible, keyword is visible, to them. Until the start of the next psychic phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from that hit roll.
Yeah, so in the lore, he's basically using the Wa energy to make 2 little pokey fingers, like an old kung fu, like one of those old kung fu movies, and jab me in the eyes.
That could be really used.
He's jabbing them into his own eyes and having it affect your eyes.
Honestly, that would be good against me, like a horde close combat army, like Tyranids, for example.
Well, I would argue against that. I actually think it's better against elite armies because you are subtracting 1 for the attack's hit roll, not attack characteristic. So, because it's from the hit roll, very elite units, armies like Space Marines or even Custodes, subtracting 1 from that hit roll that they rely on, I actually think is a better defense. Now, if you're going against something like, again, Tyranid Hormagaunts, because they're just on the mind, or Gene Stealers. What did Gene Stealers hit on?
3s.
But they have how many attacks?
Like 3 or 4.
So when you have that much weight of dice, either through number of models or just sheer number of attacks, and you have a whole bunch of models because they're cheap, then this really doesn't get as much effect as it would from a unit that really needs those good rolls.
Honestly, I think this is going to be one of those things. I think we're both right. I think it depends on the circumstance. But at the end of the day, Mason, just to wrap up the psychic power, so we won't be droning on.
The only ones I can really see myself ever taking at the moment with 1 is just Warpath and to jump, just because it's nice to be able to jump around a unit of Beast Boys, either onto an objective or into an enemy backline like I did last time, to actually save me from losing. I only tied the game, but that 1 psychic power made a tie.
And honestly, it's going to be really easy. I feel the same way. I think even if I had to pick 1, it would be the jump, just because that will keep your enemy on edge of, you have to go and make sure everything's kind of, like your back, your rear is protected, and that kind of would be really bad maybe with close combat armies, just because you don't want to be losing the backfield too soon.
Yep, because there's always the threat that's there.
Yeah.
And it's just 1 psychic power away. especially if I have enough orc models, not boys, orc models, within, I believe it was 12 inches?
18.
Yeah, 12 inches.
Yeah, 12, yeah.
Oh, it's 12 inches for Y energy to cast a gun.
Okay.
Again, he doesn't work well on his own. He needs something to buff.
Well, I think on that note, let's talk about some more buffing via the stratagems.
Let's see. The only one you're not going to use pretty much any of these. You could use Unbridled Carnage. You could give him a Warlord trait. You could give him a relic. You could get him back up from the dead to fight again. You could use Grots to protect him. You could put him in Teleporter for Deep Strike, but you're not going to do any of those with him. The closest thing you might do is give him a relic, which is Scorched Git Bones. Scorched Git Bones, for the 2 psychic powers that are Witchfires, which were Da Crunch and Edbanga, 2 of the worst. You add 1 to the psychic tests for those, and you get a 4-up Feel No Pain against, what was it? Not deny the witch.
Mortal wounds?
The mortal wounds that are caused from the Perils of the Warp.
There we go, yeah.
There are just so much better relics in the Orcs Codex for other characters. You're not going to take any of them. So all the stratagems that you could use with them are basically null and void.
And I'm going to agree with you again. Looking at all the stratagems that the Orcs have, it would just be a waste of stratagem points. You know, like,
yeah,
oh wow,
that too.
Like, wow, with the blood axes, they can put them on the board eggs. Okay, yeah. Wow, sweet. Oh, they can deep strike him for 2 command points. Well, yeah, I'm going to teleport him into
onto an objective or into the opponent's back line. Yeah, no.
I mean, it would be kind of funny if there was a way they could do like a reverse Doug jump of like taking enemy units and move them across the field. I think that would be quite funny.
Yeah, you're not going to use a whole lot of stratagems on him other than CP reroll for psychic tests, and that's really it. But he doesn't do damage by himself. He allows you to win the game by buffing other units and helping them get around the board or making them stronger in combat.
Yeah, and
especially if you can think of this. Do you remember my Beast Boss on Squigzord?
Yes.
Imagine, if you will, I give him my normal Brutal but Cunning and Edwapa Skill Choppa, but I have the Weird Boy cast Fists of Gork and the jump on him.
Well, well, I know really likes the idea of that.
So he would go to normal strength 8, then times 2 because of Edwapa Skill Choppa, strength 16, going to 18 on a golf Watch Charge, with up to 2 or 3 more attacks. Well, it's 2 to strength or 3, but you get the idea. So strength 8 or 9.
Well,
so
I think
keep striking him somewhere rather than running him up the board.
Well, Mason, I think we both agree that this is a very good unit.
Yep, not by himself, but as a buffing unit, as a support unit.
Yes, and I think on that note, maybe Lulu wants us to stop recording because it looks like we've talked a good amount of time on him, and hopefully we helped people out there. So
yeah, just get a good idea of your Weird Boy. If you see him on the battlefield, he is a surprisingly high target, high priority target.
Well, in that case, Mason, closing it off. What do we always say?
Get your shit painted.
Right, exactly, Lulu. Woof, woof, woof.